Hello, I'm Bruce Lorincz, and this show is called Bruce on the Loose. I talk to people in city government, the school system, businesses now, and organizations in Wadsworth. We have the Wadsworth cross-country team with us, and they finished 5th in the state. Caitlin Beaker is with us, and also Rowan King, and our coach, they call him Coach H, but I'm going to go and say Humrickhauser.
You are right on that. Yeah, okay. That's right. Yep.
Coach, what about early on in August, September? You're getting ready for the season. Did you have any idea that the girls would be this good?
Well, I figured they could be a good team. I didn't realize we could be actually a great team, and that was something that I think started back during the track season. Towards the end of the track season, we had kind of talked about some things that we wanted to do this upcoming season, more so just like with the team, going to different meets, different workouts and stuff. And these two girls here were down at the state meet down in Columbus, and we're sitting at the Cheesecake Factory, ready to have a good meal, and all of a sudden they want to talk about cross country. And right there, I knew there in May and June that they were ready to take ownership. So I was really excited, but did I think that would lead us to a 5th place finish of the state meet? No way, but I'm glad that it did. So
sometimes we underestimate what our athletes can do to be cohesive and urge the other girls to do more than they maybe thought they could.
Yeah, and I think what was great about this team is we just kept the focus on us the whole season, and just, okay, how can Wadsworth cross country get better each day and each week, and not really worrying about the competition. Like, we respect what the other teams do, we know what they can do, but we're more worried about us and everything. I think that kept the pressure off us, and it really allowed them to excel individually. So
what can runners do over the summer to prepare them for the big season coming up?
We meet regularly over the summer. We're getting in long runs. We're going to like Silver Creek. We're going to Rittman, to the bike path, doing a lot of different workouts and stuff. And I think more mentally too, just getting prepared for the season, building those team connections with each other, encouraging the new freshmen or any new runners that we have. And this summer we actually met up with the girls from Hudson and the girls from Cloverleaf, two really strong teams in Northeast Ohio, just to get some runs in together. So they got to know a little bit more of their competition beyond just the race, but then also gave them some confidence that, hey, we can run with the best in Northeast Ohio.
Speaking of confidence, as the students get more confident, do they go ahead and really maybe exceed their expectations?
I think so. And we had, when I look at Kaylin and Rowan, one of their strengths is just how they empower their teammates. They never have any big egos like, hey, it's my team, or I'm the number one runner. It's, okay, hey, we all need each other to reach the success that we want to. And I think that then allows some of your underclassmen to really step up and perform beyond expectations, because their teammates are so confident in them, and they know they can go out there and do it.
Caitlin, can you tell us a little bit about that bond between runners?
I would say our bond between our whole team is very close. Like, we're very personal on our runs. We make so many jokes. We laugh all the time. Like, I feel like we're very close. We even have a team like sleepover coming up all together. So I'd say it's pretty close. And I think it really translates to the race because we all trust each other to do our role.
Is there any extra pressure on you being the number one runner? Do you know who the number one runner on the other team, maybe Hudson or Cloverleaf or someone else? Does that put any more pressure on you?
I feel like not really, because as long as I do my role and stick with whoever, like each race, Coach Zach and I had like a plan of who to stick with, and as long as I played that role well, the team followed and it went pretty well.
What about the X factor? What about the crowd, the parents, the boys? I'm sure like to urge you on. Your teammates that may not be running that day because of various injuries or whatever. Is that much of a factor?
I think it helps a lot. Like, we had two of our senior girls who were on the JV squad who made like a sign for us, and they were very loud, and like I just think it really helps, honestly, when we're running.
Rowan, what about your role? You kind of understudy, you're a junior, you're kind of looking around and maybe kind of thinking what you can do next year. Is that very important to you?
Yeah, I think it's very important to me because for me, cross country helped a lot, and I think that those upperclassmen when I was an underclassman really pulled me along and made me love the sport. So I think that if I can do that for my underclassmen, then I think that that's something that I'm definitely going to, I'm going to take on that role the best I can.
Did you ever think that your team would finish 5th in the state, Division I? I mean, we're talking about, and we'll get to Coach in a minute, about the breakdown of the Ohio High School tournament, but quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, no, it was pretty unbelievable to me, considering the last season we didn't do as well as we had hoped. So I think that us even making it was sort of like an if this year because we were so stuck on what happened last year. So placing in the top 10 even was a pretty big shock, and I'm very happy about it.
What about your diet? Sometimes runners forget how important diets are. Do you pay attention to those details?
Yeah, so if you've ever been around a runner, you know they talk about carb loading a lot. We eat a lot of pasta. That's what we have at almost all of our team dinners. Yeah. It is very important because I think that every day we go out when we run, we burn a lot of calories. You have to replenish those. You have to eat a lot of protein. You got to get a lot of your carbs in, obviously. So I think that you don't have to pay attention to it to the point where it's detrimental, but I think that is an important factor.
Coach, what about the progress during the season? Could you see the kids as a team getting confidence and success and building on that?
Yeah, most definitely. We are within our first 3 meets. We already had 2 invitational wins already under our belt, and I think last year, compared to last year, that was a huge step up. And then we had girls that were running season and even career best. But I think what made me the most excited was how well our JV girls were doing. Our JV girls dominated this season. They went to all the same invites we went to, and every invite they finished in the top 5 except for 1. And that was at Boardman. That's one of the largest invites in the Midwest. And I think that gave me confidence because, for Roan and Kaylin that have been on varsity for multiple years, the expectation is they're coming prepared. They know what to expect. They're going to race well. But when we have number 15, number 20, number 37, when they're out there racing their hardest and they're engaged with what's going on, that really gives us a lot of confidence that, hey, we're doing something special as a team. It's not just one individual or 2. It's numbers 1 through 40, everybody's bought in, and that gets you excited and stuff. When the varsity goes out and dominates, and then the JV dominates too, that's something special that not a lot of teams have.
Cross country is unique. It's a team, but also a very individual sport. And I would imagine you also get gratification where someone starts at a very high number, but gradually works that down. And again, the course makes a little bit of difference as well. But when they get that down, you probably say, well, this is certainly worth it, and you really worked hard.
Yeah, and we focus on career best, but we also put a lot of focus on course best. Mm-hmm. Kind of comparing course to course and everything. And, it was exciting. Kaylin ran a career best at Worcester, the 3rd meet of the season. So I think that gave her and her teammates a lot of confidence. Rowan, crushed her career best at Centerville midway through the season. And then when we're at regionals and a qualification to state meet is on the line, all 7 girls that either ran a career best and or a course best. So just to see them individually run their best when it mattered the most, that means a lot. So.
Okay, can you break down the Ohio High School tournament? I think there's 3 different levels, mm-hmm. Is that right? Can you go ahead and describe about how many teams are in the first round, second, and third for the edification of our audience?
Yeah, so we, for districts, every team makes districts. So there's somewhere between 25 to 30 teams that are there. And then our district at Glen Oak, they take the top 9 girls teams. So you have to finish within the top 9. Then you move on to the regionals that is held at Boardman High School. And then you have to finish there. There's 24 teams there, and you got to finish in the top 8 on the girls' side. and then that takes you finish in the top 8. You go to the state meet, and there'll be 20 teams there, along with any individuals that have qualified and stuff. So Boardman for regionals, we were the toughest region on the girls' side by far. Just the amount of depth that was in the region. They do a coaches poll and everything, and you look at the coaches poll, and about probably out of the 24, 25 teams, probably about 10 or 11 of them all came from Northeast Ohio. So we knew that was a meet that was going to be tough, just with the amount of teams there, but then also how competitive it was going to be.
Caitlin, what about that fifth runner? That, it's like a golf score, right? The low score, you want a lower score than the other team down the road. And the fifth runner is a key. And would you tell me why?
I would say our fifth runner was very good in her role. Like, every time the race came, she just played it so well. She beat all the other fifth runners. And honestly, we're only as good as even our fifth, sixth, and seventh runner. If we don't have that, you could have a great first runner, but not a good fifth runner, you're not gonna make it on. So I feel like that helped that we had a good fifth runner.
No question about it, because some teams try to get a certain time between first and fifth, and that doesn't always work out. And it's really a very, very strong team if you have a good fifth, and you say sixth and seventh, because they push each other. And the fifth runner could maybe do a little bit better than they did the week before. What about, since you are seniors, college and your plans?
Yeah, I'm committed to the University of Akron for soccer.
That is fantastic. A zip, and you're looking at a zip right here. I'll tell you, that is great. It's a fine institution of higher learning, and congratulations. It's a really good school and a lot of different opportunities. Any special major you're looking at?
I'm kind of undecided. I don't really know yet.
Okay, well that's okay. No problem about that at all. Rowan, what about, they said you ran track. What did you do? Probably a distance runner?
I did. I actually think I ran every event last year.
That's a decathlon. That's decathlon.
I mean, Coach Zach is really chill with our events if it's not an invite. So, we ask him can we do a distance 4x1 maybe? So you'll have a lot of distance runners just doing some random events, but mostly, yes, I focus on distance.
What about running cross country is a lifelong endeavor, isn't it? That you can, and we just got done with the Senior Citizen Center did a walking challenge, and we did 25,000 miles plus. All the people 161 people walked, and we were real proud of that. But running can be a lifelong activity, can it?
Yes, definitely. I think that it's not even just running itself, it's the people that you get to know as you're running. I think that cross country is very different than a lot of the other sports, because I feel like our team bond is always closer. So if you can just have a good circle and then go on some runs, I feel like you can do that forever. I mean, sports maybe football or soccer, you might get too old to do them, but you can never be too old to go out for a little jog.
Yeah, for sure. Or in this case, the senior citizens did a little walking, but they really enjoy, especially the fall. Coach, what about the Suburban League? I know they're really wrestling is very good and football very competitive, but I bet cross country is too.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's a league that has a lot. I think this year our league had at least an individual or a team at the regional meet. So all 8 schools had at least somebody at the regional cross-country meet looking to go to the state meet and stuff. And every year it's a battle between us, Hudson, Brecksville, and Stowe. We just feel fortunate that for the league meet, it's held on our home course over there at Silver Creek and there in Norton. So we're able to practice there just about every week, at least once or twice a week. So we knew when a league meet came up that we already had an advantage over a lot of the other teams there. And this year they won league title, first one since 2018, and they had the second lowest score ever for a league champion. So that was pretty incredible to witness. So
no question about it. I think University of Akron also runs there. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah,
they're actually hosting next fall. They're actually hosting the Division I regional meet there, and
Great.
D3 Regionals was hosted by John Carroll this past weekend there and stuff. So it's a pretty awesome course, and we get to train on it, so we benefit.
Rowan, I guess you had a visitor as you were preparing for maybe the state meet. I understand Coach John Martin came and talked to the girls. What words of wisdom did he tell the girls?
It was focused a lot on family, how your team is not just your team. If you can stand on the starting line and hold hands with your teammates and tell each other I love you, I'm so happy that I get to run with you. If you act as a family, as one unit, then you're going to dominate. You're going to succeed no matter what.
No question about it. It really bodes well for our society as well. No question about it. But it is. We talked about the bond. Now, how would you maybe influence a middle school runner? I know Coach wants to keep this going and build on your success. What legacy can you leave to the younger runners?
So Coach set up a group thing during our academic lab during school, and we had a lot of the middle school girls come in, and we got to eat with them and talk with them and just kind of encourage them and just tell them a little bit about our program and just what we do. It's not even oh, you can run a great time, or oh, you can go to states, but it's more you have a family that you make. You have your best friends by you. You go through the same things, the same challenges, and you just become closer, honestly.
What would you tell a runner about early meets in August, how hot it is? Do you have any techniques for 90-degree weather? Of course, you run early on Saturdays, which is good. It's really not quite as hot there, but it does heat up if you get into a later match. What do you try to do or tell people to do?
I would honestly just say hydrate a couple days in advance, because hydrating the day of is not really gonna do much. You have to do it a couple days in advance and just try to prepare for that, and sleep. You need to get quality sleep, and then you need water, and I feel that you should be good.
Don't forget the spaghetti.
And carbs.
Don't forget
Lots of carbs.
Absolutely, yep.
Coach, what do you teach at the high school? Be interested to see your background there and where you went to college.
Yeah, so I've grown up and lived in Northeast Ohio all my life. Went to Worcester High School, graduated in 2013, and then I went to Ashland University where I ran cross country, ran track there as well all 4 years, graduated in 2017. And I was looking for teaching jobs and couldn't really find any, but I found an opening to be an assistant cross-country coach here at Wadsworth High School. And I applied, and Coach John Burton, at the time, he let me on his staff. I don't know if I was the only applicant, but if I was, awesome and stuff. But so I've been here for the last 7 years. I started teaching here full-time 5 years ago. I teach high school history. I have an incredible department that I work with every single day and everything, and I'm just so grateful to be in a community like Wadsworth that supports everybody. It really supports the high school. I thought one of the coolest things that I noticed about our community was when we went to regionals and we went to state, just the amount of people that were showing support either through emails, showing up to our meets and everything. We had parents that were coming to our regional meet that didn't even have a kid racing, and they were still coming there to support and everything. So I'm just so grateful to be teaching here. Been teaching here 5 years. I hope I'm teaching here for 30 more years and stuff. So.
Does Mr. Knapp still wear his suspenders?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
He still does.
He was one of my my youngest daughter's favorite, and she really enjoyed social studies. Did that at Elon University, and really enjoyed him very, very much.
Yeah, and it's such a blessing to have people like Jason Knapp, John Yagi, Rob Lynn, John Johnson, Chuck Hamilton, DJ Schrock, that I can just go to and talk about anything. And then they're so supportive of the girls throughout this journey, and supportive of me too, because I don't get as much stress as they do about the race, but it's just nice to know that you're going to be supported no matter what, and the staff that we have is incredible at the high school.
Rowan, what are your plans as a junior? Almost a quarter done your junior year. Have you been looking at some schools?
Yes, I'm not sure if I'm going to run in college.
Okay, well.
If I do run in college, I will probably do like an intramural club or something.
Sure.
Because I'm looking at being an engineer, so I'm not sure if I would have time to be an athlete also, like seriously. But yeah, so I am looking at like University of Cincinnati, Dayton, Ohio State, just like some good engineering schools.
Don't forget Akron. Akron has a very good program.
True, yeah.
A very, very good program in engineering, Coach. I got to mention that. And the Eagles, home of the Ashland Eagles, I bet, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no
I don't know if we have
question about
engineering, but
yeah, that's true. But engineering, yeah, well, a lot of colleges, some you mentioned and some not, train engineers, but they go back to their countries. They go back to Europe. They go back to Asia. We like to keep some of those engineering students here and of course we're working on a 5th and 6th grade building. Hopefully the engineers are doing a good job on that. What would you tell the benefits of a young middle school runner, both boys and girls? Would you say it really is something that they should really think about and join?
I would think so. Like personally, middle school me was like, I'm not gonna run. I'm done running. I'm not doing it. I'm doing soccer in high school, and he sent down Claire Nicholas and Rachel Murphy to me, and I ran my freshman year, and I enjoyed it. So I would just say, honestly, try it. Like, go out for it. Like, it's not a sport where you have to try out or anything, and honestly, you're going against yourself every meet, so you just push yourself, and you'll have best friends like doing it with you. So.
Coach, do you have the kids put down their goal, where they maybe start their first meet, and then kind of write down where they would like to be at the end of the year?
Yeah, we did that a little bit at the beginning of the season. Right. Really, one of the big things with goals is we make it more about the process, and we this year we did a lot of reflections after the meet, and to kind of break down, okay, what went well and what didn't go well, and kind of what else is going on in your mind here and everything. That really opened up my eyes to what maybe things we were doing well, and maybe some things we needed to improve on and stuff. So that they could kind of see those goals. But when we're making goals, one of the great things about this sport is, we kept varsity and JV together. So when we were talking goals, obviously Kaylin had goals of, I want to break 19, make the state meet, but she was in the same room as girls that were, hey, I'm open just to finish a race, and stuff. Right. And I think that was a lot of power to know that, hey, your goal matters just as much as anyone else's goal and stuff. So yeah, we talk about them, but it's more in the process. Okay, how do we get there week by week?
Ron, do you have any tips for rainy weather or soggy weather or going through pools of water? And I'm sure you had maybe one or two of those weeks along the way in Northeast Ohio.
Yeah, I actually get made fun of a lot for the rain gear that I bring.
Okay.
They tell me I look like an astronaut because I have these awesome rain pants.
Okay.
But they are very helpful. Okay, if it's raining, you need to stay dry. You can't get cold. You have to be warm for your race. So
tell them about Riverside.
Yeah, we did have a really muddy meet. Our first meet was extremely muddy. You were like running through still water, a lot of it, and you kind of just have to like power through it. You can't I remember our teammate, she lost a shoe within like the first 800 meters. She could have just stopped. No, she kept going. You have to have that mindset that's like, you can't let this slow you down because everyone else is experiencing too. So.
Coach, is this a stepping stone for the future? Do you think we'll have a very solid team next year?
Yeah, this is something we talked at the state meet. We had obviously our state team. We had about 15 other girls that were down there, and my message to them was, we don't want this to be a one-time thing. I mean, what we did this year was awesome, but we want to kind of keep that going. And, I hope, next year, in the years ahead, we win meets, we run a lot of good times and stuff. But I would say the most important thing I want to look forward to is just the journey that next year's team's going to go on, and the team after that and stuff, the story that they're going to write. And hopefully, of course, so I hope the girls run fast, but I hope they also, when they graduate, they feel like, hey, I was part of something that mattered. That I was part of a team that cared for me. And if they can walk away saying that cross country was one of their best experiences here at Wadsworth, then that'll put a smile on my face.
We've talked about heat in the August, September. We've talked about the weather, and your apparel that helps you through. What about coldness? When it gets to late October, it gets pretty chilly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially in the morning.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I just repeat way in advance. You gotta bring warm clothes and stuff. You bring more, and then if you don't need it, you can always take it off. But you don't want to get there and not have anything. And then, man, wish I had it and stuff there. But as long as they have stuff for the warm up once they start racing. Knock on wood, we haven't raced in anything super cold yet, but they're usually fine by race time and everything. So.
How important is it to stretch? Can you overstretch?
I would say so. Maybe just kind of overdoing like the warm up run and stuff, but that's just kind of a routine that we get into day one and stuff. So by the time they get to a race, like they're a well-oiled machine and they can just operate. Like they don't even need me there. They can operate on their own and they know what the expectations are.
Well, it's very good to host the fifth best state cross-country team in Division I, and certainly I think this bodes well for the future. And you have such interest in the middle school, and you include the JV team so much, and I think that's a ticket for success. Thank you very much, ladies and Coach, for joining me, and
Thank you.
Thanks for viewing Bruce on the Loose. We'll be back, in fact, coming up with a new fire station on College Street here in town.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.